Speaking of, we hope, near collapses, the Stars and what they've been dealing with lately, not exactly the right way you want to go into the playoffs, but maybe they're taking a page out of the Rangers from a couple of years ago where they just fell flat on their face.
That's
and then
an interesting
still won the whole
comp.
thing.
Yeah.
Mike?
Listen, I mean, Pete DeBoer said it after the game the other day that Tyler Seguin made a speech to the team about the fact that, hey, last year we went rolling into the playoffs, 10-2 the last 12 games of the season, and then lost the first 2 games against Vegas in the first round on home ice. So how we finished the season doesn't really mean that much. They're hoping that that's true because the way that they're finishing this season has not inspired a ton of confidence after that it seemed like they were playing some pretty good hockey not that long ago.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you have to look at their health, and not having Miro Heiskanen has been really tough. And, you know, not having Miro is something that you can get by for a short period of time, but at some point that comes back to haunt you. And right now, I think the Stars are seeing that in a big way. The other thing is they have to get off to better starts in these series. They haven't won a game 1 since 2020, and I think that's the one thing for them is they have to set the tone a little bit better. But at the end of the day, I feel pretty confident about their forward group. I still think they'll be fine whether Seguin comes back or not, which he's knocking on the door. But for me, it's that defense group with, I mean, aside from Thomas Harley, you really don't have a whole lot going on there, and that's terrifying when you're matching up against Cale Makar in the first round.
Yeah, we have seen some moments with Dallas Blue Liners colliding into one another, leading to a Penguins goal a couple games ago. It has been ugly at points. You mentioned the health of it all, and obviously the Tyler Seguin, Miro Heiskanen health is what is front and center for everybody, but just coming out over the course of the last 24 to 36 hours or so, they've got the flu apparently going through the team as well. So that doesn't make anything easier, and maybe it explains a little bit of the struggles of late. I don't know how long that it's been going through the team. It's only just come out recently, but maybe that factors into the fact that they've been a little sluggish lately.
Maybe.
Yeah, but the schedule doesn't help either because the Avalanche are going to have like 4 or 5 days before of no hockey before they go. While the Stars still have another game to play later this week, so they're not going to be super well rested. Definitely not in comparison to the Avalanche.
The other thing that scared me, and granted, I might be overreacting a little bit, but it just feels like I haven't seen Ottinger's best yet in a while. And I'm looking specifically at the Canucks game, where, granted, it was essentially 6-on-5 for the final minute, but you would think up 3 goals you can get out of that game clean. And we've even seen a couple times in the playoffs where he'll let up a softie and it'll just get in his head, and then they're playing from behind for a little bit. I know great goaltenders can give up even an occasional what the heck happened there kind of situation, but it feels like with Ottinger it's starting to happen a little more regularly. Saad, I'm curious from your perspective, is there any concern from his stance heading into the playoffs here?
There is a little bit, just because his last year in the playoffs wasn't as stellar as you're used to seeing him in the regular season, at least either. But to me, the goaltending and the defenseman, they all kind of play hand in hand. It's kind of like saying you have concerns for a receiver, but the quarterback is the problem. So right. I mean, it's right there together. And yeah, I do have some concerns with Ottinger, but to be honest, my concerns with Ottinger stem a lot more what's happening right in front of him than him on his own.
The path in the West, too, is brutal as usual. I mean,
Buddy,
you're talking about multiple rounds against some of the best teams in the league with some of the best players in the league, and I realize everyone deals with that in the playoffs, but just handicapping the West this year. They're not facing a defending champ right out the gate, sure, but you're still getting McKinnon, you're still getting Makar in the first round side. I mean, what can we expect from this series aside from a seven-game knockout, drag-out fight?
Yeah, well, look, I don't know the exact ins and outs of what the Avalanche have going on with Gabriel Landeskog, but he also started getting back. He hasn't played in a couple of years. He's on a conditioning stint in the AHL as well. If they get their captain back, I mean, that's even more for the Avalanche. You know, it's hard to feel confident when you have your best player in Cale Makar, which I believe that he is the Avalanche's best player, and the Stars just have no answer for him. I think Miro and Makar, they're always linked together because of the draft day and where they went, but they match up really well on the ice. Miro is a top 5 defenseman in the NHL. Cale Makar is probably number 1 on that category, and I think that's the mismatch that's going to come back to bite the Stars throughout the series, because as Pete DeBoer said, even if Miro returns, they're going to have to ease him into. He hasn't played hockey in a long time, and they're going to have to ease him back into game shape.
Yeah, this is not going to be plug and play Miro Heiskanen that you just, okay, he's right back to being that top 5 defenseman. It's going to take some time, and they don't have that time. It's why chasing after the 1 seed was such a good idea for them, and they got reasonably close. It ultimately blew up on them at the end, but that would have made their pathway a lot easier through the postseason and given Miro an opportunity to ramp up. There's no opportunity to ramp up anymore.
So what you're saying, Mike, is it's not a Mark Stone situation.
No, it is not a Mark Stone situation, no.
Ironically, with the person that delivered
it was a Mark
the injury
Stone
to
created
Miro.
situation.
Yeah.
Sure.